So welcome back. Thank you for joining me again for this part 2 of our little destructible target as well as our little scoring system here. So in the first video, what we did, we assigned our line trace collision a damage value, that is a damage that it inflicts of 100, and it's going to inflict 100 damage on any actors that it strikes. So we did that first, and then we created this little target man blueprint here, and we're going to fix something with this guy right away because this is really annoying, but let's put him up here. So basically what happens is once we hit him, he disappears, a little emitter goes off, a little explosion emitter, and we assigned a damage of 100 to that guy. And since our line trace inflicts 100 damage, he gets destroyed. So that's what we did in the first video. So first thing we're going to do is we're just going to fix something. You notice that when we drag this guy in, he's halfway through the floor, and I should have really set this up properly the first time. So let's fix that right away. Let's go into our little blueprint, into our viewport. And right now, if you can see, our static mesh is kind of centered on that ball, and that ball is basically the scene. So what we want to do is we want to put this guy about halfway on that ball. Just about there. That's close enough. We could get it perfect, but it's not bad. So now when we drag him in, it's much better. We don't have to mess around so much. And also later on, if we do want to add a animation, say for instance, we want to flip these guys up or down, you know, we've got our orientation properly. So, all right, so that's good. That's done. Now, what we want to do is let's have a look at how to build that kind of score fly up. So that's pretty easy to do. So within my Tom Custom Assets folder here, we'll go into our Blueprints folder, and I'm just going to right mouse button, and I'm going to go here to User Interface, and I'm going to create a widget blueprint. So let's put that there, and let's rename that, let's see here, Fly Up Score. All right, so there it is there. So let's open that up, and we get this little editor. And this is actually really interesting. We've got some space here to build some animation, so that's what we're going to do. So let's call this thing, well, let's first off, let's call this thing something else. Rename Fly Up Score. Fly Up Score, there it is there. And let's start by dragging in a text box, and let's kind of get it sort of centered there. And down here in the content in the text box, we'll put in 10 points for now. All right, hit enter there, and let's center that up. So where are we here? Appearance, center. There we are down here. Just center it within the text box, so there that is. Now the other thing we want to do is we want to make sure that this text box is dead center in our screen, and we're going to use that little flower thing. This is this anchor. So let's come up here and click that centered. And this way we're sure that our little point text box is going to be centered in the screen, irrespective of the screen size that the player chooses. So let's align that text box. So here in X and Y position, we want to make sure that this is dead center. And we're putting it in the center also because our line trace hits in the center. So it follows that, you know, we want this thing to start in the center. Since the line trace is going to be centered on the target, we want that little 10 points to start at the target. So let's put it in the center. I'm just going to move that anchor out of the way here for just a second. Okay, so there that is, and there's our text, and let's rename that as well. And let's call that again Score Fly Up. Fly Up. There we go. Now we got some extra letters in there. What are you doing? There we go. Fly up. There we are. Okay, hit enter. So let's make it sure it's selected. Let's come down here to animations and click that. And we'll also put, let's see here, Score Fly Up. And we'll call it animation. Okay, there that is. So let's make sure it's selected. Let's come down here to track and then add a track. And then we'll just go with our Score Fly Up. So there it is there. Now within our Score Fly Up animation, we want to add another track. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's choose color and opacity. Now one thing I forgot to do here, up in our points text box, we want to make sure that its alpha is 0. So in appearance, alpha is 0, because we don't want it there all the time. All right, so let's crank that down to 0. Okay, there we are. All right, so back in here, in this color and opacity, let's expand that. So what this allows us to do is create keyframes and assign values to, well, here RGB and alpha, and we're just going to mess with the alpha channel, and this is our timeline. So at the beginning, at time 0, we want our alpha to be 0. So let's put that there. Let's scrub this forward to 1 second, and then we want full alpha. So we'll click here and come to 1. And we'll scrub forward to 1 more second. So 2 seconds, we want that alpha to fade out again, so like that. So basically, when this target is hit, this thing's going to come on for a second and then fade out for a second. And the final thing we want to do with that text is we want to get it to scroll up. So what we want to do down here, let's just collapse that. Let's add another track for our score fly up. And this time let's go transform. And let's just expand that. And we can do rotation, scale, shear, but we're just going to mess with the translation for now. So back in our timeline at time 0, we want it to start where it is, so we'll just leave it where it is. Then at 2 seconds, we want it to fly up to the top of the screen. And we can make it fly any way we want, but we'll just go straight up. So that's our Y. So let's just drag this up here, just off screen. There it is, perfect. All right, so then we can kind of preview it by going through the scrub line. So this is what it's going to look like. Let's zoom in a little bit. And we can kind of scrub through it and see what it's going to do. So just like that. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and save and compile that. Now within our widget, we want to come up here where my mouse is hovering and hit the graph. So let's click that. We just got a couple little nodes we have to put in here. This is the only one we need event construct. We could delete these other ones. We'll leave them in for now. So let's drag out of here. Let's go play animation. Animation. Just like that. And then we have to tell what animation to play. So let's go up here to our animations and expand that. And we should have our fly up score animation, which is there. Let's drag that in and get it. And let's just connect that to in animation. Okay, perfect. That's all we need to do there. All right, so we got to come into our target man blueprint. So here's that guy. Let's go into the event graph. And what we're going to do, and we built this in the last video. So all we're going to do is we're going to stick a couple of nodes right here, just after the spawn emitter at location. We could put it in another place, but this is probably a good place to do it. So let's break this trace, Alt left mouse button. Let's just drag that over here. So let's drag on out of here and create widget. Just like that, select that guy. And then here in the class, we want to click here and we want to find our fly up score. So there it is there, perfect. All right, and let's just move this over. Now what we're going to do is we're going to drag out of here and we're just going to add to player screen. Add to player screen right there, boom. And then we have to connect this. Sometimes it connects it automatically, sometimes it doesn't. So we'll just connect that there. And then finally, we want to make sure we destroy the actor, get rid of him. So take him off the map. So there it is there. Perfect. All right, let's save and compile. Now we should be able to go in here. And let's drag a fresh one in, our target man. There he is. And let's hit play. So now when we hit him, we get that little fly up. Perfect. All right, so it's time to tackle our little target score HUD here. So let's go ahead and do that. Now we got a little bit of work to do to get that to function properly. But if you just stick with it and follow me carefully here, you'll get it to work no problem. So let's get out of here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into the root folder, our first person blueprints, and we're going to head into this first person game mode. So let's pop that open. We haven't got anything in there right now. So let's right mouse button and let's go ahead and add custom event. Let's go ahead and put that in there. And we can call that anything we want. Let's see here. Add points seems to be kind of apropos. There it is there. Let's make sure it's selected. Let's come over here and hit new parameter. And let's see here. We can call this, let's see here, add points. Let's hit enter. And let's make sure that that is an integer. And you can see it placed it there for us. Okay, perfect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a variable. So let's go over here and add a variable. And we're going to call this variable, let's see here, target score. Just like that. Hit enter. And let's make this one an integer as well. Just like that. We don't need to do anything more with that guy there. So, all right, I'm just going to hit save and compile. All right, so let's grab that guy and drag him in here. And let's get, and let's pull off of here and hit our plus key. And we want to go integer plus integer. Okay, there it is there. And we're just going to break this right here, Alt left mouse button. We're going to drag it in down here. And we're going to take this add point and put it into there. Okay, perfect. Now what we want to do is drag off of here and let's find our target score. And we want to set that just like that. And then let's connect this to that. Okay, so there it is there. We got a little bit of work to do, so I'm not going to explain what this all does. You're just going to have to follow along and take my word for it. It's going to work swimmingly. Okay, so there's that. Next thing we want to do is we want to go into our little Destructible blueprint here. So let's go into our little custom folder, Tom's Custom Assets, blueprint. Let's go into our little target man blueprint. Okay, there he is there. We built this in the last video. So we're going to go here at the very end and we're going to build after the destroy actor. That way the points don't get added until the actor is destroyed, so we don't get any extra points. All right, so let's drag out of here and let's cast to first person game mode. There it is there. That's a mouthful. And let's drag out of here in this object and let's go ahead and get game mode. Okay, there it is there. Well, let's just click on that. Okay, perfect. Then what we want to do is we want to drag out of here and let's find that add points. There it is there. Let's put that right there. Then what we want to do is I just want to hook this up here, otherwise we're going to get an error. So let's hook that up there. Let's drag out of here and let's promote to variable. Now if you don't see that promote to variable, just make sure this context sensitive is clicked. Let's promote that to variable. And let's grab that guy here and pull him down here. And we can name that anything we want. So I think we're going to just name this, let's see here, well, target score. All right, there it is there. Now we're going to compile and save it because we do want to put a value in here. And this is basically going to set a value of how many points we're going to add for this particular little destructible target. And this guy here, well, we'll just go with 10 for now. So let's go ahead and hit 10, save and compile. And that's all we need to do there. Okay, so that's perfect. So let's go out of here. Next thing we want to do is build our little widget blueprint. So we're going to stay in our custom assets blueprint folder here. We're going to right click, user interface, come down here, and we're going to do a widget blueprint. And we're going to call this thing, I don't know, score HUD. All right, there it is there. Actually, the HUD is nice because it's going to be easy to search for. So we'll double click that. Now, what we want to do in here is we want to add a horizontal box. Now, if case this panel is collapsed, just make sure you open it. And let's go ahead and grab a horizontal box. And you can place this anywhere you want. And I think in a future video, we'll make the score look a little bit nicer, but we'll just keep it simple for now. So there's that. Let's come up here and hit our text. And let's drag one of those text boxes in. And let's go ahead and just justify that. Now we can change the color if we want. Why not? Let's change it to blue. I'm not going to worry about too much about the aesthetics now, but we'll just put it blue just for fun. And let's come over here for this font size, and let's just make it just a tad bigger to there. Then let's change the actual text. So we'll call this, well, I guess score seems pretty appropriate with a semicolon. Okay, there it is there. And then let's drag in another text box, or just a text, and put it right there. Let's justify it. There we go. And in here, we're just going to put a bunch of zeros, I think is okay. And why not? Let's go with a color. We'll go yellow. I'm not going to pay too much attention to the aesthetics now, but I'm just showing that you can make that colorful if you want. So let's make sure that that's selected, and let's make it a little bit bigger here. I don't know, 34 seems to be okay. Now, with that text box selected with the zeros in it, we want to hit this bind key. Not there, sorry, text. This bind right here. So let's click on that, create binding. And it's going to open up this little graph here. So let's drag this out here. Now I want to rename this. Let's see here. So rename, and I'm going to name this target score, just like so. I'm going to drag out of here. And I'm going to say cast to first person game mode. Okay, there it is there. Perfect. Let's drag out of here and we'll get game mode. There it is there. Okay, good. Let's make sure that's connected, which it is. Okay, perfect. Now what I want to do is we want to drag out of here and let's search for our target score. There it is there. We want to get it. So there it is there. And then let's drag this up in here and it should convert the integer to text for us. And it did. Okay, perfect. All right, right on. All right, so there it is there. So let's go ahead and save and compile that. Okay, and then the last thing we have to do is when we're out on our level, let's go up to blueprints up here and open level blueprint. Now we actually have to put that score on the screen. So that's really easy to do. So let's right mouse button and let's go event begin play. There it is there. And let's drag out of here and create a widget. Create widget. Let's see here, widget, there we are. Now we have to tell it what widget to use, and we can just click in here, and we don't want to use our fly-up score. We use that in our other little part that makes that little fly-up score. We want to hit that HUD, score HUD, so there it is there. And then the final thing we have to do is drag this out here, and then let's add to viewport. There it is there. And let's make sure that we take this return value and put it there. Okay, so we did quite a bit there. I didn't explain it too much, but I just showed you the side of the workflow. So let's go ahead and compile and save this. Now, if we did everything correctly, we should be able to come into our map and let's put in a few of our target guys in here. Let's rotate that guy around. We don't have to do this, but let's make it nice. Okay, there he is there. Let's put a couple more in here for us. And one more. And there he is there. All right, perfect. So we should now be able to go in here. And we do see our score up there. It's not justified very well, and the colors are ugly and everything else. And I think a future video will make a much nicer version of this. But, oh, where are our guys? Okay, there they are. And now when we shoot them, we can see our little fly up, and it's adding the score on there. So there it is. So we did quite a bit of work in these last two videos, but that gave us basically a line trace that creates 100 damage. We created a blueprint, a little target guy there who gives us 10 points. And we did our little HUD scoring system and our little fly up there. So we did quite a bit there. So we're starting to get towards a game now. And we'll pretty this up a little bit more, especially that HUD looks ugly. It's all sort of smushed together, but we'll fix that. So. Alright, so I do want to thank you for watching the video and joining me today. It's been a blast as usual. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. I do want to thank everyone that subscribed lately. It's been fantastic. We had quite a few new subscriptions there over the holidays, so that's great. And don't forget, subscribing doesn't cost anything and there's no obligation. It really does help me out. And I appreciate if you can mash that button now. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Keep editing and stay well and all the best.